I wasn't prepared to publicly endorse anyone for the US presidential election. I wasn't prepared to, I was going to vote, obviously, but I wasn't prepared to make a public endorsement. But after watching this debate, I'm coming out. Arana Nation is publicly, unabashedly endorsing Donald Trump for a second time. And I just have to say, thank God for giving me US citizenship. Thank God for allowing me to be born in Canada. Yes, it's a great country. That's where I live. That's where I choose to live. But thank God for giving me the opportunity to vote for Donald Trump, not once, but twice. This debate has made it clear that I have to do what I can, despite the fact that there have been many times where I've been cross with Trump, I've been angry with him, mostly on foreign, in fact, all of it on foreign issues. I'm against the aggression towards Iran. I'm against the pandering to the Zionists, but especially now with these times that we're living in. These times that we're living in, this is, and I'm not one to be one of those people to say, oh, this is the most important election. They always say it's the most important, but this is, in my lifetime at least, maybe there'll be other important elections, but in my lifetime, in the 27 years I've lived on this earth, this is the most important election, not just not just in America, but globally too. I mean, I have been alive through many elections. The very first, I've been alive through many elections, and this one is very important because of the world we are living in right now. If you want to continue living in this 2020 dystopia of not knowing whether or not the government will shut down your place of business and throw you out of work and make you live off the government, collecting welfare checks month after month, week after week, being forced to wear a mask everywhere you go, continuing to push the boundaries, continuing to push our buttons, continuing to take our freedoms away, continuing to push us away from the people we love, not being allowed to gather, not being allowed to live normally, to be living in fear, then Joe Biden is your person. But when Donald Trump said the line that Joe Biden wants to close down the country and I want to keep the country open, that's when I said I have to publicly endorse Trump with all his faults. For him to come out and say that publicly and challenge the medical establishment and challenge the New World Order and challenge the elites so publicly and viciously, when, to be fair, let's be fair, all of you Trump people, and I'm an independent, all you Republicans out there, there have been times when Trump has gone along with the establishment, and maybe he's done it because he wants to keep his job, maybe he's done it because he doesn't want to get shot, maybe he's done it because he doesn't want to be John F. Kennedy, I don't know. But there have been times when he's gone along with the elites, he's gone along with the establishment, he's gone along with the neocons and the medical establishment, all that stuff. I mean, he still hasn't really come down and said, you know what, I'm not going to force anyone to wear masks. I'm going to sign an executive order. No one's going to be forced to wear masks over a virus that kills less than 1% of people who get it. It's not going to happen anymore. But for him to come out and publicly, viciously, and violently say, no, I am doing everything I can to make sure that we get back to normal. I want to get back. My goal is to get back to normal. My goal isn't to continue with this foolishness forever. I said, well, Trump may not be perfect, but if Joe Biden gets in there, it's over. It's over. Freedom as we know it is over. It'll be globalism, it'll be New World Order, we will be living like this for the rest of our lives. And Joe Biden, the president of the United States, is the most powerful person on the planet. He really does set the tone. And the only reason why Donald Trump really hasn't said it as much is, first of all, he hasn't really, I mean, as I said, he hasn't always challenged the establishment. Sometimes he's gotten along with it. I think if he really were to get aggressive and tough, and hopefully he'll do it in the second term when he doesn't have to worry about elections, I think eventually the world would follow. But if Joe Biden were to get in there with the power that he has, it would be over. We would definitely live in a new world. You be prepared to wear masks forever. Be prepared for the government to have control over your jobs, over your money, over your livelihood, over everything. It'll just be bad. It would be the end of the old world, and we would officially stay in the new world order. It would be over if Joe Biden wins. I'll tell you guys something. Something that happened to me today, actually. And part of it is because I'm just so fed up that I don't even care anymore. I almost got arrested today. Yeah, it's true. The commander-in-chief almost got arrested. I was in a store today. And, I called you know how you call these guys, annoying women, you call them Karens? Well, I call annoying men, I call them Greg. Or Glenn. Some Glenn came up to me. Or he actually came up to the store person and said, that guy isn't wearing a mask. And I don't wear masks. I don't wear masks. I tell people I have a health condition. I don't have no health condition. I don't wear it. Look, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. If our politicians and our leaders can break their own rules, our prime minister, I'm in Canada, you guys, for you American watchers. Our prime minister, he tells us we have to do all these different things. When the height of the lockdown was taking place, he went to his cottage on Easter. He went to his cottage, no social distancing, no mask, no nothing. Doug Ford, who is the premier of Canada's largest province, Ontario. It's the province where Toronto is, Ottawa is, all that stuff. He just recently came back from a wedding. He comes back from the wedding, and now he says that we can't have gatherings of more than 10 and we all have to wear masks. And if we don't wear masks, we're yahoos, we're this, we're that. I mean, he has been, and I supported Doug. He's the brother of the late Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, a great man, someone whom Doug doesn't emulate in one way whatsoever. They may look alike, but that's about it. And they don't even look alike. I mean, he has become so arrogant. He's actually become more arrogant than Justin the Tech Kid, Mac Daddy Trudeau. I mean, he's become more arrogant than the Mac Daddy. I mean, it's like, and no, Doug has not been compromised. This is who he is because of the way his language, the way he speaks. It is just, you can sense that he enjoys the power he's gotten. He's forgotten about the people, but yet he tells us to do all this stuff. He himself also went to his cottage during the lockdown, and as I mentioned before, he went to his to a wedding with no mask and more than 10 people. So if these politicians can break their laws, their own laws, and I'm going to break them too. If they can tell me that this virus is so dangerous, however, you're safe to go to a Black Lives Matter rally, then I'm going to break these rules because these rules are a joke over a virus that kills less than 1% of people who get it. I ain't afraid of it. And I've got diabetes too. I've traveled during this virus with no mask. I'm planning another trip with no mask. And I haven't been sick. In fact, this is the first year I haven't gotten sick with anything. Knock on wood. So this guy comes up to me, oh, you're not wearing a mask. I heard him. I said, I have a health condition. And he said something like, oh, prove it or something. That time I ignored him. But then, again, I'm so angry right now that when I was finished paying for my stuff, I said, by the way, dumbass, I don't have a health condition. What are you gonna do about it? And then he sticks out his middle finger, and I went back into the store and I did this on him. I don't care. I do it again too. Yeah, I would do it again. Then he tried to get my license plate number. I went into the store. I charged into the store and I said, what the F are you getting my license plate for? And I meant to slap him, but I slapped the Timbits out of his hand. And I'd do it again too. I don't regret it. Patriots, I don't regret it. Y'all can say that I'm hot-headed. Y'all can say, I told you, I warned you. I said I'm ready to fight now. I'm sick of this crap. And let me speak briefly to some of these Black Lives Matter people and some of these anti-police people. The police officer that I had to deal with today, I have to thank him. If all police officers were racist, my ass would be in jail right now. I wouldn't have watched any of this debate. I'd be sitting in a jail cell right now. I'd be sitting in a jail cell. I wouldn't be mine. I said, I'm prepared to go to jail over these. I'm prepared. Hey, listen, they've already turned the planet into a jail. I think the real jail is more tolerable than what we're living through right now. I'm prepared. I actually went to, because what happened is that I was working, and the policeman, he must have found me at my work. He said that he has to go watch the surveillance video and then he was going to come back with a decision. I said, no, I'm not going to have a drama, a chaos at my workplace. I went to the station and I said, if you're going to arrest me, here I am. We're not going to do this at my workplace. You can do it at the station. He said, son, you got to control your temper and you can't be doing that. That's assault. I'm going to let you off with a warning, but don't do that again. I said, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, need me a ticket. I think he probably understands himself, that, yes, what I did was bad and everything. I don't regret it, but, yes, it's assault, but, the policeman was probably thinking to his mind, what do you expect when you're out in public? And this isn't the 1950s. I mean, the world is a dangerous place. You're out in public and you're worried about some stranger wearing a mask. I mean, if I was some crazy person and I had a gun, I could have killed a guy. And I would. I mean, So, as far as the officer is concerned, he's like, well, so, but this has to stop because I am not prepared to sacrifice my freedoms over a virus that kills less than 1% of people who get it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it one bit. I promise you I'm not going to do it. If this doesn't stop, well, then the anger is just going to get worse and worse and worse. I'm telling you. And, people think I'm a hothead. I'm a pussycat compared to what some other people will do and what some other people have told me they're going to do. It's getting bad. And this is not about a virus. This is about control. And thank goodness we've got people who are onto the New World Order and they're not prepared to take this line down. I'm not. I'm certainly not. And there are many other reasons why Trump is a great president. I mean, domestic issues. I'm not talking about foreign affairs. I think if he gets a second term, he really needs to start being tougher on the Zionists, stop threatening Iran. Iran has done nothing to the United States. America provokes Iran. Leave Iran alone. If they want to have a nuclear weapon, then that's their problem. America has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. Iran, stop going to war over Israel. Israel is not a country I want to have Americans killed over. But in terms of domestic affairs, he's good on the immigration, the economy. He's got it booming. He's a nationalist when it comes to trade. He wants to protect our economy from China and from other foreign nations that cheat economically, and he wants to balance the trade deficit. America first, and I find that Trump, despite the fact that he is a rich billionaire who lives on Fifth Avenue in New York City, he goes for the underdog, the farmers, the American manufacturing, made in America, not made in China. It's like, and something, what I didn't like And I think Trump should have turned around and slapped Biden for this in the debate. And I'm not going to inflict myself on you much further. But Biden called Trump a racist. Now, it's rich for Biden to call Trump a racist because Trump, first of all, let's talk about Biden. If Biden had his way in the 1970s, people who looked like me in the United States would not be allowed to be taken by buses from black neighborhoods to go into white neighborhoods and white schools to go to schools with white people. Joe Biden didn't want that. Joe Biden didn't want his white daughter sitting next to a black boy who looked like me in his neighborhood, in his school. He didn't want that. He did not want that. He worked hard and he lost, thank goodness, to make sure that that didn't happen. And his own vice presidential candidate called him out on it, even though she herself is a racist too, but that we'll get to her when the vice presidential debate comes. Joe Biden co-wrote the 1994 crime bill, and I wish that Trump had actually elaborated on that, and I think he was about to, but the thing with Trump is that he gets so excited that he loses his train of thought and he goes off in another direction. Biden signed the 1994 crime bill, which put more black people in chains at any time in America since slavery. Blacks were being locked up for petty crimes, and they were having their lives destroyed because of the 1994 crime bill. It was the most unfair piece of legislation written that affected lots of not only blacks but poor white people and other minorities. And Trump had to come in as president and write a law which said, hey, we're going to stop arresting people for petty crimes like this. We need to give them a second chance. Him, the so-called racist, he's the one who wrote that bill. And Biden co-authored a bill locking up black people called a super predator. He called me a super predator. And so he has no right to be calling anybody a racist. And finally, and I promise I won't inflict myself on you further at this late hour, man, Chris Wallace was a disaster. Chris Wallace, it's funny. Chris Wallace, the moderator of the debate, he's there begging and pleading to Trump to stop interrupting. First of all, I'm glad Trump interrupted. Biden needs to be interrupted. But interrupt him. Interrupt Biden. Don't let him speak nonsense about Trump and about Corona and lying about all kinds of nonsense so that these sausage brain liberals out there can suck in more. No, nobody. If Trump doesn't interrupt Biden, no one will. No one will. No one. The media doesn't speak good about. Even Fox News is turning against him. Trump doesn't have any one other than himself in his court, and he needs to defend himself tough. And Chris Wallace was pleading with him not to interrupt. And Chris Wallace interrupted him every time. When Trump was about ready to make a point, Chris interrupts him. He barely interrupted Biden. So Mike Wallace, Chris Wallace's father of 60 Minutes, boy, that Papa 60 Minutes, Mike Wallace is spinning in his grave right now at the behavior of his son, embarrassing that family there by trying to one-up President of the United States, interrupting him while he's out there pleading for him not to interrupt the proceedings. Anyway, that's all I've got to say, and I'm not going to inflict myself any further on you tonight, but Arana Nation is endorsing Trump. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like that, not because they're leftists or anti-Trumpists or anything, but there are a lot of citizens of the Arana Nation who are angry at the fact at Trump's international record and his cuddling up to the Zionists. And all I have to say is, well, yes, I don't like it either. But look, Trump hasn't started a war. He hasn't started war with Iran. Now, if he does, he's going to get it from me. He's going to get a tongue lashing from me. But he hasn't started a war with Iran. He could have. He could have started a war with Iran, but he hasn't. He hasn't started a war with Iran. That's the important thing. He's thrown a few bombs in Syria to appease those neocons. He hasn't done it, though. He hasn't done it. And I don't think he wants to. And I think and I hope that if he wins a second term, he won't try to appease that crowd anymore because he'll have nothing else to lose. He can be his true self and we can see his true colors. But the most important thing right now is that the only people who are going to win this election is Trump and Biden. And I'm not saying things are going to be perfect if Trump or Biden wins, but as an independent person who values my freedom and who does not like this 2020 New World Order, I am going to go with Trump because I don't want to have a continuation of this new world order that we are living in and it being even worse. I don't want a continuation of that. I'm tired of lockdowns. I'm tired of masks. I'm tired of the economy being closed. I'm tired of my job being at stake and being threatened. I'm tired of my income being threatened and having to beg the government for a welfare check. I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of the Karens. I'm tired of the Glens. I'm tired of it. And I don't want to see violence on the streets, which will happen very... You think these Black Lives Matter people are violent? You ain't seen nothing yet till you seen people like me who really just all of a sudden snap at this whole New World Order that we're living under. I'm tired of it. And it's got to stop. And this is probably the last opportunity that we've got to make sure it doesn't get worse. So that's what I've got to say. This is the